I've talked about some tips for how to convey genuine empathy, but now I want to move into how do you actually do that? So what sort of language can we use to convey it? I'll start with responding to the negative. So when the patient expresses something that is upsetting, concerning, they're worried about it, how do you respond to that appropriately? And usually this structure is pretty good. So starting with the patient says something, and then there's a slight pause as you process everything that was just said, and then responding with that empathy statement, usually a short phrase or something, and then moving from there into a question or some sort of signpost to continue that conversation. What's important about the very short pause is, again, it contributes to the genuineness of the empathy. If you immediately respond, it sometimes sounds like you haven't actually thought about what was just said. So inserting that slight, very brief pause before responding is a good practice to incorporate. So let's take a look at the actual language here. Here's a few examples of phrases that are commonly used. So this one here of that must be, and then you can really choose painful, challenging, difficult, frustrating, whatever adjective is appropriate to what they just said. So they've said something, maybe they've said, I've been struggling with pain for the last 5 months. And you could say, oh, that must be frustrating. That must be frustrating. Can you tell me more about this pain? Can you tell me, like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? So that expression or that phrase, that must be something, is a good one to use. Another example there, I'm sorry to hear that. And this one I hear a lot as we are preparing and practicing with role plays. So I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that your child has been sick. How are you coping with that? Notice here, again, you have that empathy statement moving into a very natural follow-up question to keep the conversation going. This one, I'm sorry to hear that. That's the one that I find tends to be overused. If someone memorizes one phrase, I find that this is usually the one people memorize. So I would, again, caution, you should have more than one phrase that you can use, and that way you can respond in different ways depending on the situation. Another one is this, I understand that. I understand that this is challenging. I'm going to explain how we can find a solution together. Or, I understand that's frustrating. I am going to explain why I need you to do this. This one is a good empathy statement if your role play card has something that the patient is asking or even demanding from you. So the patient wants something, but you are told on your role play card that you cannot provide that for them. You have something else that they need to do. So importantly to hear them, to empathize with it, but to also stand your ground and to respond basically by saying no, however, expressing it in this way. I understand that. However, I'm going to explain why that is not an option or something like that. This one here as well can work for that sort of context. So I hear you. I hear you about wanting this medication. Let's talk about medications that are going to work, that are good for you to take at this point in time. Something like that. In that case, the let's talk about, that's actually a signpost. So transitioning into kind of the next discussion about the medications. Another one here, this is a bit longer and it can be adapted depending on the circumstance. So let's say, for example, the patient tells you something. They say, I haven't been sleeping for 5 months, or I haven't been sleeping well for 5 months. I don't understand what's happening. I'm really frustrated. I need you to give me information about this or how I can solve this problem and so forth. So basically, if the patient says several things at once and the statement that requires empathy is towards the beginning there, it might be easy to just kind of keep the conversation going and answer their questions. But a really nice technique to show the examiner that you can recognize the need for empathy is to acknowledge what was said and go back to the original statement and say, first, I want to reassure you that it is completely normal to have these concerns. Many people do. And then move into that, can I ask you about your habits, some of the things that you are doing during the day, for example. But this idea being the patient has said lots of things and you're returning to that original statement that needed empathy, even though you didn't have the space or time to say it right after, for example. So those are some different phrases that you can use depending on what the patient's just said, where in the conversation it is, and also what the patient is wanting from you as well. So you can practice with some of those. If you have other examples, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. And as you're doing your role plays, thinking of places where you can insert some of these empathy statements.